"Can I sit here?" the one-legged girl asked the single dad. His answer left her in tears. The bus stop was loud in the quiet way only evenings could manage, where sounds didn't shout but lingered. Tires whispered across wet asphalt. A streetlight flickered, unsure of itself. Somewhere nearby, a vendor packed away unsold fruit, the soft thud of crates echoing against the curb. On the bench closest to the shelter sat a man with tired shoulders and a jacket that had seen too many winters. Beside that man stood a little girl, no more than 10, balancing carefully on one leg while the other rested in a metal brace that caught the light like a thin blade of moon. She didn't look frightened. She looked practiced, the kind of calm that comes from learning early how to read people before they speak. Her fingers tightened around the straps of her small backpack as she looked at the empty space beside the man. The bench had room, but the world often pretended it didn't. She cleared her throat, the sound soft but brave. "Can I sit here?" The question hung in the air, simple and fragile at the same time. The man looked up, startled, not by her presence but by the way she asked, as if permission were something that could be denied for simply existing. The man's eyes moved from the empty space to the girl's face, then to the metal brace, and finally back to her eyes again. There was no rush in the movement, no judgment, just attention. "Yes," came the answer, calm and certain. "You don't need to ask." The girl hesitated, as though the permission had come too easily. Then she shifted her weight, carefully lowered herself, and sat beside the man. The bench creaked, but it held. For a moment neither spoke. The city breathed around them. A bus passed without stopping. A breeze lifted a corner of the girl's dress. "I like your jacket," she said suddenly, nodding toward the worn fabric. "It looks warm." "It is," the man replied. "It's seen a lot of winters." She smiled at that, a small smile that didn't fully trust happiness yet. "I like winter," she said. "People walk slower." That made the man glance at her again. "Why's that?" "So they notice things," she said, "like birds on wires, or kids waiting at bus stops." There was something in her voice, an old soul kind of knowing, that pressed gently against the man's chest, the kind that reminded a person of things once understood and then forgotten. A bus roared past again, spraying a thin mist from the road. The girl flinched but didn't move away, her hands folded neatly in her lap, resting on a book with a cracked spine. "What are you reading?" the man asked. "Stories," she replied, "the kind where people are nicer than real life." The man smiled, though something in that smile pulled tight at the edges. "Those are my favorite kind." She studied the man now, really studied, as if searching for something behind the eyes. "You look tired," she said, not unkindly, but not the sleeping kind. The man let out a breath that was almost a laugh. "That's an observant thing to say." "My teacher says I'm observant," the girl said proudly. "She says it like it's a good thing." "It is a good thing," the man replied. "The world needs more of that." A silence settled again, but it was a gentle one now, not heavy. The girl swung her good leg slightly, heel brushing the ground. The metal brace glinted as a car passed, and she instinctively adjusted her dress to cover it. "You don't have to hide that," the man said softly. She froze. "Hide what?" "The part of you that helps you stand." Her eyes widened, not in fear, but in surprise. Slowly she looked down at the brace, then back up again. "People stare," she said. "Sometimes they ask questions that hurt. That says more about them than about you." She was quiet for a moment, then whispered, "Some people move away when they see it." The man nodded. "Some people are afraid of what they don't understand." "Are you afraid?" she asked. The answer came without hesitation. "No." The word landed between them like a warm blanket. The girl swallowed, her chin trembling just a little before she could stop it. "My mom says not everyone stays," she said, "but some people do. She says you can tell by the way they listen." The man turned fully toward her then, giving her all of his attention. Your mom sounds wise. She is, the girl said, then added softly, she's tired too. The wind picked up, carrying the smell of rain. The girl hugged her book closer. She's working late again. I take this bus alone now. I know how. That's very brave, the man said. She shrugged. It's just what is. A bus pulled in on the far side of the road, not theirs. Its doors hissed open, then closed again. The girl watched it leave, her reflection briefly visible in the window before it vanished. Sometimes, she said, people look at me like I'm broken. The man's jaw tightened, but the voice remained steady. You're not broken. How do you know? Because broken things don't carry themselves with that much strength. She blinked, and for a second her composure cracked. Her fingers curled into her sleeve, pressing into the fabric as if holding something together inside. No one ever says that, she whispered. Well, the man replied, maybe no one ever took the time. Her eyes filled, not with loud tears, but with the quiet kind that shine before falling. She looked away quickly, embarrassed. I didn't mean to, she began. It's okay, the man said gently. Crying isn't a problem. It's just honesty leaking out. A tear slipped down her cheek anyway. She wiped it with the back of her hand, then laughed a little at herself. You're nice. The man smiled. I try. The streetlight buzzed overhead. Somewhere down the block, laughter echoed from a group passing by, unaware of the small, important moment unfolding on a bench. Do you think, the girl asked softly, that people choose who they become, or does life just decide for them? The question hung heavy, far too big for a child and yet perfectly shaped by one. I think, the man said slowly, that life gives us pieces, and we decide what to build with them. She considered that, nodding slowly. I want to build something good. I think you already are. Her eyes met the man's again, and this time she didn't look away. The tears came freely now, but there was something else mixed in. Relief, maybe, or recognition. I'm glad I sat here, she said. So am I, the man replied. The sound of an approaching bus grew louder, closer, its headlights cutting through the dim evening. The girl straightened, wiping her cheeks and taking a steady breath. She glanced at the road, then back at the man, as if wanting to say more but not knowing how. The bus slowed, brakes hissing, the number on the front glowing bright. The wind lifted her hair, and for a moment the world seemed to pause right there, between the question she had asked and the answer she had received, between who she had been before sitting down and who she was becoming now. She opened her mouth again, about to speak, just as the bus doors began to open.